HCW. Alrighty, it's been a while since I've been able to wrestle in my own fed. I took the summer off to spend time with my kid, preparing him for school. I couldn't get used to being a stay-at-home parent, but I guess life's all about challenges, isn't it? Challenges is the proper word here, since in my time away from wrestling, there's been a tag team rising up the ranks, or should I say a stable by the name of the Four Horsemen. They've been dominating here, winning match after match after match. Nobody's been able to find out their identity. I remember this stable back from my days in AIW, but back then they didn't last very long because the Federation died. And this time I get to see more of them. This time I've gotten to see them beat opponent after opponent after opponent. Many wondered if they would have any competition left. Until now. This is my return match. You can say I've been a little bit rusty in that time away. My last match was a title match against Ambrose Nocturne for the AUW Ultraviolence Championship, and that one I lost after like a year of holding it. I'm not used to not wearing any gold for the past year, but it had to happen at some point, right? Now I get to come back and wrestle in my own fed. I even said in one of the segments, not even a couple months ago it seems like, when I said, I'm done just being a suit. I'm done standing back and just being the authority figure. I want to wrestle here. I had a chance to do that as tag team champion with the CCS, but that was more of a short-term thing. And CCS dominated and still has dominated, but I wanted to build something new. After training them into the big success that they are, now I get to move on and build a new Society of Destruction. And I've managed to build a formidable opponent for you in myself, Harley, Charlie, and Haley, not Harley, and Bray Wyatt. Sorry, it's been a while since I looked at what's there. Bray Wyatt is one of my biggest rivals. Me and him have gone way back. HCW UK, HCW Chicago. We've torn the house down together, man. We faced off once, and I beat him in HCW UK before he decided to hightail it out of there. But boy, I've got to tell you, that Bray Wyatt guy is a tough challenge. That's why I chose him as a tag team partner. He's a multiple-time HCW World Champion. He's also a Hall of Famer. That guy can fight with just about anybody. If I'm going to build a team, I'm going to build a team of people that I wouldn't want on the other side of me. We're not friends by any means. I don't think we'll ever be. But I think I can speak for him when I can say that he respects me. He respects what I can do. He respects what I can offer. And I think that in itself makes for a good tag team. As for Charlie, he's another rival of mine. Boy, that sucker can pound a good punch. If there's anybody that's a living reflection of me, it's that guy, but way older than me. He's a veteran that's been around the block plenty of times. They don't call him the hardcore icon for nothing. That guy, I used to get on his nerves when I was in AEW. We would fight and fight and fight because he thought I was trying to take him out of his power. Well, It sure didn't help that Sickle was lying to us and telling us that he's the enemy. It sure didn't help that Fatih, along with plenty of others, seemed to get inside our head and tried to tell us that Charlie is the enemy and that we need to take him out for good. I repent of that, seriously, because had I not done that, I wouldn't have met the living reflection of me. It's why I chose him as a tag team partner. Because just like me, he can not only unleash a whooping, he can take a whooping. He knows how to endure so much punishment. He's been through every damn stipulation in the book, and the guy just doesn't tap out. Seriously, I've tried. That guy just doesn't tap out no matter who's there. If anybody's gonna be my tag team partner, it's gonna be a guy like that. But the wild card to me is this little girl named Haley. I don't know much about her, to be honest. I just know that she's new to the Federation. I honestly wish the powers that be, besides me, would have hired someone else to be the tag team partner. But instead, I have to live by what the board of directors gave me. I don't know much about this Haley chick, to be honest. I'm not even sure if she's gonna show up. But I hope to God she does, because I'm gonna need all the help I can get against 4 formidable opponents. I've already spoken about my tag team partners, so let me talk about the people that I'm gonna face. Let's start with... Let's see what their names are. Let's start with Death. Death is such an inevitable ending for all of us. Lots of people fear death. Lots of people say they don't want to die, that they want to achieve so much success, that they want to be the best at everything they do, and get all these material possessions, be the richest man in the land. But people fear death as if it was the worst agony there can be. I don't fear death, to be honest. Death is inevitable. I live my life the way I want to live it. I don't sit here and say, oh my God, I could die any minute now. Please do this, do that. Fuck that, man. You know? Fuck that. I'm already living a dream, being a rock star and being a professional wrestler at the same time. Fuck, I even have my own radio station. It's why I didn't wrestle for so long. I've been busy with my own podcast, with my own band, and being a father. I've gotten to achieve every dream I could possibly have. And death doesn't really concern me. If I died, I could say I achieved everything I ever wanted to do and had fun doing it. Death doesn't really scare me, to be honest. It never really has. And as death is always used as a threat by people, saying they're going to kill you, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I don't really see it as a threat, you know? I don't really see it as a threat. They can try to kill me all they want. I've proven every single time that I can endure whatever punishment they toss at me. I've proven time after time that death doesn't faze me. I've stared in the face of death and lived. I got told as a little kid that I wouldn't live to see my 20s with my epilepsy, and I lived to not only live my 20s, I got to kick epilepsy and kick the pills. I don't fear death. None of it. I've stared death in the face and lived, and I will continue to do that for years to come. You want to prove me wrong? Go right ahead. I dare you to dish out any kind of punishment you want towards me when it comes to that ring. Because no matter what you do to me, I will always keep coming back for more. You understand me? I will always keep coming back for more. You're not gonna faze me with that. Go ahead. Try to tell me all these threats about how I'm immortal, about how I'm in power, about how many times I've lost. I don't hide it from anyone. I know I'm not special. I know I've got all these flaws, and guess what? That's what makes me the ultimate underdog. That's what makes me so successful. Because I don't hide my weaknesses from anybody, especially people like you that think you're immortal. Who are you trying to fool here, kiddo? You guys think you're gods, that you have nothing that can faze you. I'm sorry, there are no such things as gods in this world. Unless you're playing Smite or some kind of video game, you're not fooling anybody. You're human just like the rest of us, as Trapped would say. You're human like the rest of us. That's because you are. Exactly. So stop playing it off like you're not. The next one is Lover. Lover. Lover is the one that leads the lambs to slaughter. Interesting. Interesting. The one that leads everybody to slaughter. I'm not a Christian or anything, but I understand that it's just fucking myth. Everything's a myth, especially the whole fantasy four horsemen of the apocalypse shit, where we are all doomed to some end. Believe me, I don't believe in that kind of garbage. I don't believe in there being some sort of Armageddon where we're all judged and we're all going to hell. Please. Do you think I believe in such storybooks? War is part of life, as Charlie said. War is inevitable. We all have to endure it in some shape or form. Hell, I've dealt with seven times in my own feds where we had to fight each other, where there was a war of trying to take over for the owner. Everybody was trying. It's the most unoriginal thing in the history of wrestling, having this sort of takeover storyline where it's us versus the owner and we want to take down the corrupt owner. Hell, Bray Wyatt tried to do that with me. But there is no taking over here. None. There isn't going to be any war here. Because as long as I'm here, HCW is firmly within my grasp. HCW is going to continue to be mine and nobody's going to take it from me. You can try and take it from me, but you will fail just like the rest of them. Trust me on that. I've been in just as many hardcore matches and just as many Fed takeovers as my partner over there. I'm well trained to overcome it, regardless of who is coming at me. The next one is Scales of Justice, Famine. That's the one that Feigl kept mentioning. Justice is really what has defined my career a lot, hasn't it? Lots of people have labeled me as Captain Sabahole because I want things to be done fair and square around here. I try to take matters into my own hands when it comes to making sure all fights here are not out of control. Justice has always been my thing. I don't like seeing people being taken advantage of. I was bullied for a large portion of my life. I walked in a pool of my own blood for what felt like 17 years. And I've dealt with everything. Bullied for shit that I really had no control over. And when I see something like that happen in Fetting, I really don't like watching that. I want to see people fight and it being just about the fight, not about the numbers game, not about someone having an advantage over them. I want to see a good old fashioned wrestling match just like NWA days. That's why I booked a match like this, 4-on-4. That way we don't have to worry about if the others will interfere. The scales of justice fits the purpose of this match. This match was to set up not only competition against them, but to also show everybody that I'm not just going to sit back and take it. I'm going to make sure I give people the best possible product every possible week. As far as famine goes, let's see. Famine kind of like what happened in the old days when there was no food or water for several months. Famine, it's what has contaminated this federation for as long as it has. The lack of competition for championships has gotten stale. We've seen the same people hold championships for over a year. Even though they're my students, I still want to see competition. I still want to see new people have chances to succeed. There's been a famine of competition around here, and that has manifested itself into the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen have had quite a dominant reign here, but competition has been limited at best. That famine is going to be exterminated when we walk down that ramp united with a cohesive purpose, and that purpose is to save HCW from the monotony that it has experienced for the past year. We're going to save HCW from the monotony of Four Horsemen and CCS controlling everything. Because competition is good for the soul. Competition is what made wrestling so much good in the past. Competition is going to take us back to the top. Next we have Plague, Pestilence, Hermit. Plague is something that falls into that is sent down to earth as a punishment for our sins. Plague ties into what I just said about famine. Plague is what's been going on around here for the past year or two, with people thinking they got everything made up in their head. They're trying to make up conclusions about why HCW is so corrupt, why the owner has a beef with them, why the owner wants to hold them down. Make up excuses for why they're not successful. Look at me in the eyes and tell me why they're not successful. It's not because I did something to them. It's because they did something to themselves. You have to take matters into your own hands. When they see CCS, when they see Four Horsemen, they look at me and think I put them there. They look at me and say I hand chose them to be dominant as they are. No, they're dominant because they worked their asses off to get to that point. I'll give them that. They're here because they earned it. Alright? They're here because they wrestled their ass off every single week. Regardless of how many matches there were on the card, they showed up every time and set the bar pretty high for all of us to follow. It wasn't because of management having it in for them. No, the only one that can do an impact is yourself. If you want to be a champion, you have to take matters into your own hands and step up, like Avery McCullen did. She went from a nobody to an undefeated streak to world heavyweight champion to tag team champion. That girl is a legitimate Hall of Famer whenever she hangs them up. People like that take matters into their own hands. You want to talk about being held down, about management not giving you an opportunity to succeed? Fuck that, man. You know, nobody has time for that. You make your own opportunities. I try to give everyone a chance. Hell, Four Horsemen are living proof of that. I don't even know who the fuck they are, yet they've had quite a long winning streak in this federation. You can't claim I gave them anything. I don't know who's under the mask. I'm pretty certain nobody in this federation knows. So, there really is no bias there. They've won when it mattered. But their little winning streak is about to come to an end. Because when I walk down that rink, I'm not looking for this to be some storyline match. I'm not looking to sit here and say I'm going to have a match and walk away. No, I'm here to be part of the roster. I'm ready to be a champion. And I know I've got my work cut out for me with people like the Four Horsemen. I respect them. I really do. I'm not going to sit here and kiss their ass, but I do respect them because they've backed up their words. They may not be the gods they claim to be, but they've certainly come close with the damn winning streak, and nobody could take that away from them. We can call them dimwits, we can call them phonies, we can call them any damn insult there is from a coloring book, which is what I think of it. But we can't deny what they've done in the ring. I may be the first guy to say that, but fuck it, man. You gotta give credit where it's due. People like that are hard to come by in the wrestling business. They dominated in their own way, just like another familiar Four Horsemen that happened in the 80s. There may be no correlation to it, but the dominance is akin to that. That's a hell of an honor to be compared to. So with that being said, Four Horsemen, I'll see you at HCW. I've said enough about what I have to say. And we'll see who comes out the victor. But respect is earned, not given. You've definitely earned a lot of mine. I don't know about my tag team partners, but I'm honored to come here and say you're my first test in my quest to return. I chose competition like you because I wanted to see if I could still hang with them. And when I walk down that ring and look into your eyes, that's exactly what I'll know if I'm really cut out to be in this federation or not. Which I know I am, but results speak louder than words. That's exactly what I plan to deliver. Best of luck. See you later.